Are the US and China headed for a confrontation in the South China Sea? The US has deployed 2 aircraft carriers as a show of strength, and the Chinese Navy has released footage of its training exercises, sparking fears of potential conflict. What does this mean for the region? Could this conflict rise to be a global threat? The US is now sending a warning to China in the South China Sea, and this move has been seen as a direct challenge to China's claim over the disputed waters. In this video, we're going to take a look at what the deployment of 2 aircraft carriers means for the region and how the Chinese Navy is responding. Let's begin. The USS Ronald Reagan is one of the US Navy's most powerful aircraft carriers, and it recently made a powerful statement by entering the South China Sea. Measuring over 1,000 feet in length and carrying a complement of fighter jets, helicopters, and other military aircraft, its arrival has been seen as a direct challenge to China's claims over the disputed waters. This has caused tensions to rise in the Asia-Pacific region, with US officials making it clear that they will not back down from asserting their presence in the region. Chinese military vessels closely monitored the aircraft carrier's movements, sparking fears of a potential confrontation. However, US officials have made it clear that the aircraft carrier's deployment is purely for defensive purposes, and they're not seeking to escalate the situation. The US Navy has taken another bold step in South China Sea, deploying a second aircraft carrier and increasing tensions with China. The John C Stennis, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, arrived in the region of February 16th, joining the Theodore Roosevelt, which has been operating in the South China Sea since January. This move is seen as a show of strength to China and a message that the US is determined to maintain a presence in the region. China claims almost the entire South China Sea, an important shipping route with potential oil and gas reserves. This has caused tensions between China and the US, with the US conducting freedom of navigation operations in the region. Now, the US has deployed 2 aircraft carriers in the region, likely making the tensions even more severe. China has denied accusations of militarizing the South China Sea, while the US has accused China of destabilizing the region with its military presence. The Chinese Navy recently released footage of its training exercises on the second aircraft carrier, the Shandong. This video may have revealed some important details that were not previously known, such as the fact that the Shandong had a close encounter with a US aircraft carrier in the South China Sea. In the video, G-15 fighter jets fly around the clock, giving viewers a sense of security. The Chinese Navy released a statement on its official WeChat account, describing the Shandong's exercise in 2021. The Chinese Navy's first ever 055 destroyers, Nanchang, recently made the first international voyage, participating in a joint China-Russia maritime exercise. During the cruise, the crew of Nanchang broadcasted in English to foreign ships and aircraft. "I am Chinese Navy 101. I am sailing. Please keep a safe distance from me." According to Chinese military expert and TV commentator Song Jumping, when PLA warships and warplanes encounter foreign vessels, they need to speak English. He believes that the Shandong, a Chinese aircraft carrier, has likely had a close encounter with a US aircraft in the South China Sea. Generally, when carriers from different countries meet at sea, they keep a safe distance from each other. As Song explains, helicopters and ships from both sides will circle around the carrier of the other side and communicate who they are and what they're doing with no hostile intentions. The PLA Navy recently shouted an overwhelming sense of security while on duty in the South China Sea, and experts have said that this phrase could have been used in 2 different scenarios. Firstly, if foreign warships and planes were close to the drill area and the Chinese military needed to call out to inform them not to enter the sea, they would use this phrase to do so. Secondly, if foreign warships or aircraft were near sensitive waters, such as the Nansha or Xisha Islands, the PLA Navy would use this phrase to call them to leave and stay away. This phrase also shows the PLA Navy's determination and courage to fight and win, no matter how many US aircraft carriers they send to the South China Sea. Recently, the US 7th Fleet announced that their Navy and Marine Corps, led by the Nimitz Aircraft Carrier Strike Group and the 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit, were conducting joint exercises in the South China Sea. This is the second time this year that the Carrier Strike Group has entered the South China Sea. The official account of the PLA Navy recently released the latest shots of the Shandong's training in the South China Sea. The images show that the carrier is composed of ships and fighter jets of different types, and is preparing for a real combat exercise. Military experts argue that this is a demonstration of the importance of Shandong's deployment in the South China Sea. It's seen as a necessary military task and an important military mission for the Shandong to fulfill its duty as a combat ship in the South China Sea. The deployment of 2 aircraft carriers is seen as a show of force to China and has increased tensions in the region. Although the situation is tense, there hasn't been any sign of violence from both sides, and only time will tell where these events will lead up to. To stay updated on the latest news, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Make sure to like and comment down below if you think the US deployment of its carriers is justified or not. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.